Hi there, my name's Jordanna. I'm an artist for Ignite Imagination, so you can see it on my apron. And today I'm going to be doing a shadow theatre workshop for turning the page. So you can see here I've started making a shadow theatre. My shadow theatre is based on Grimesthorpe, so I've decided to put the old wall in mine, and I've decided to put some wintry trees in it. So I'm going to show you what you need and then take you through how to do it. So you're going to need a few bits and pieces from around the house. An old box would be really great. You're going to need a white piece of paper, or you might have grease-proof paper. You could use that. I use white paper, so I'm just going to put that out the way. You might have things like paints that you can decorate it, or pens. I've decided to put some old magazines down on my table just to protect it from the paint. You're going to need things like glue, scissors, tape, and then if you've got maybe either some black card or just some normal card from anything really, that can be useful. And I've even got some old magazines here that might come in handy as well. So let me talk you through how to do it. So the first thing that you're going to do is the trickiest bit, and I would suggest that you get an adult to help you here. So you're going to need to cut out a section of your box to put your paper behind. So I've nearly cut all of mine out here. I'll just cut out this last bit. So yeah, I would recommend that you get an adult to do this because you're going to need a sharp pair of scissors and it can be a bit fiddly. And I don't want you to cut this off. And what I did before I cut this out was I marked on the back about how big I wanted it to be. So I made sure that the gap wasn't bigger than my piece of paper. Okay, so then you can get your piece of paper and you need to stick it down. So you can use glue, you could use tape. So I'm going to do it quickly here just to show you. I'm going to put a piece of tape in each corner and just stick it down like so. In each little corner there, and you can see that that's what I've done on this one, which is a bit more finished. Let's stick each bit down. Make sure it's nice and flat, so you might need to do it a bit better than that. So you've got your piece of paper that's going to serve as the screen for your shadow box. So you might have noticed this shadow box is lit up. You can see me making a shadow here. You also are going to need a light source. So for this, I've got a lamp, but you might be able to just use a window. So you can hold your shadow box up against a window. You might have another light source like a torch, or I don't know, perhaps you can think of something else. So you can use whatever you like. Just make sure that your card and your paper don't get hot from the light source so that they're not in danger of setting fire. So I'm going to keep my lamp behind there, so that's going to shine through quite nicely. So that's the first thing that you need to do. And then we need to decorate the outside of our box, and it's really up to you how long you spend doing this and how fancy you make it. With mine, I decided to put some red paint on it, so I've just got a little bit to finish off here. You might want to stick on bits and pieces that you can find, like coloured card or old cards that you've kept, or paper, or you might want to stick on buttons, whatever you've got. So I've got some stars here that I'm going to stick on, and I've also made a quick sign for my Grimesthorpe Shadow Theatre, so I'm going to put some glue on the back of that and stick it on. So I've just done bubble writing for this, but you could cut out the letters from a magazine if you didn't want to do the writing yourself. If you've got an old magazine or newspaper, you could cut out the letters from there. It's up to you how you do it. Let's see if I can just stick this on. Like that. And then yeah, I'm going to do some quick decorations with my stars here. So I've done these on sticky back foam, but you could use anything. Like I said, you could use a magazine, or you could colour in some paper and then cut out stars. I can peel the back off mine. stick a few stars on to make it look fancy. And if you are feeling like you really like this part of it, you really like the decorating part, you might even want to make some curtains. It'd be really cool if you could make some curtains out of some old fabric that you could pull aside to reveal your theatre. That'd be really effective, wouldn't it? I've got another blue star here that I'm going to stick on. I think I'll put this one on the other side. Like that. And I'll just put one more on here. I've got some more, but I'll save them to put on later. So there we go. So, as I said, you're going to need a box. You're going to need to cut out a rectangle and get an adult to help you with that bit. And then stick your paper onto the back. Bit better than mine, but try and stick it down nice and flat so that you can use it for your screen of your shadow theatre. And then we need to think about what we're going to put inside our shadow theatre to make it look like, in my case, I'm making mine look like Grimesthorpe. So I wanted to put in a building from Grimesthorpe that you perhaps know. It's the old Ball pub. And I thought I'd put in some branches as well. Now, as you can probably tell, I've done mine out of black paper that I've got left over from another project. So you could just get your flat paper, you could draw your building on it, and then you could cut it out. But don't worry if you've not got black paper, most people don't. So instead you could just use anything that's nice and dark-ish in colour. If it was white, that wouldn't show up properly, but if you've got something dark-ish, then that would work. So you could cut out a bit of a magazine like this and use that. So for example here, cut out a little house. So I could put that in there if I like. But actually I'm going to leave that space for now because I'm going to make some bits that move in my shadow theatre. As I said before, I've put in some wintry looking tree branches. It looks a bit spooky actually, it wasn't supposed to, but I thought I'd make it nice and wintry because it's winter at the moment. And then I think it'd be really nice to make some parts that we can move and we can play with our shadow theatre. So here, for example, I've made a little person. And if you can see, I can hold it up against the screen with the light behind it. I can move it around, so this person might be going to the old Ball, or they might be out for a wintry walk. So you could make people if you like. You could also make, I was thinking maybe dogs and cats. I really love dogs, so I've made a little dog here. And then with your family or your friends, perhaps you could create your own story where we've got more than one character in it. So perhaps the person is there and they're going for a walk with their dog. So let me show you how I did this. So as you can see, you need a bit of a stick that you can put on the back of your person or whatever you decide to make. It could be a dog, could be a cat, could be a person, could be a football, could be anything. It could be a bird flying past, it could be the moon or the sun, it's totally up to you. So what I've done is I've got some old bits of card and I've cut little strips out of them and I've bent them in half, like half-ish, like that. So you can hold the bottom and then so I can move it around behind my shadow theatre like that. And then I've stuck my character on the front, so it's the character from the shadow theatre. So as you can see, I've done mine out of black card, but like I said, you could do them out of almost anything as long as it's a little bit dark. So you could use a bit of a magazine, something like this. So say for example you wanted to make, I was thinking I might make a crescent moon that could come up. Once I've got spooky trees, I might as well have a crescent moon. So I'm going to cut that out of my card here. Just do a quick one to show you. Like that. And then using my card, oops, got stuck on my person there. Using my card, I can stick it on the back like this. So you could use tape, or you could use glue if you prefer, it's up to you. So I'm going to effect, that on the back. I'm going to make sure that my tape is stuck out the way, I don't want that showing up. Changing the shape of the moon. Stick it on like that. Actually, I might make my stick a little bit longer because the moon's going to be high up, so I think actually I don't need a bend in it. So perhaps I could have the moon coming up, coming across. Could show what the time of day is if I was going to do a little theatre production in it. So there we go, and you can see I've not used special black card or anything, I've just used some card from a magazine. So you could experiment with different materials, that might work. So there we go, we've got a moon, I'll leave that one in there. I decided to make a person, leave that one in there. Where's my dog gone? There we go. So I've put them in there. And then you could put on a show for your friends or family, you could make up your own story, you could really be creative and do it in your own way and make your own shadow theatre. And you might want to celebrate the area that you live in. So if you really love the area that you live in, you might want to use some of the buildings from that area to be the background of your shadow theatre. And it might be that you stick those bits on permanently, like the trees and the house. I've stuck them on. But it might be that you just want to blue tack them on and then take them off when you want to change the scene or when you want to make a different story. So I hope you have a wonderful time making your own shadow theatre and coming up with your own stories to share with your friends and family.